What did they shoot Dracula? Was that an android? This love tale? What is it called?
iPhone 9. They were going retro.
They shot this on the 9?
Well, because the movie took place in the 1600s, so they had to go really retro with the technology. Or whatever fucking year this was. I'm more excited for the Dracula goes into the women's prison than I was for this film. So
the minute you... Yeah, please. When you put that out there to me, I was like, oh, like, let's drop everything, like, right now. This
is the new episode. Well, but yeah, if only me and Aggie would have spent our day watching that. Maybe we should have, but I saw it was 100 minutes. If it was like 50 minutes, I might have dove in.
Well, me and my girlfriend went to see... My girlfriend, she got us tickets to this, like the matinee, whatever, so like maybe 2 weeks ago. She got us for the matinee for the $5 tickets. That's why I saw this in theaters. But
did you rewatch it for this discussion, or did you remember it so well because you loved it that much?
Yeah, because we watched Bram Stoker's Dracula, which is such a classic, and I was like, I mean, it's cool. I mean,
did you
don't
say
get
Bram
me wrong.
Stoker? Like he's
did you call him? Did you say Stroker?
He's jerking his cock.
Well, I mean, the film was so aesthetic. I was Bram Stoker when I was watching it, but No, I said it because it had a very, I don't remember the exacts, but it had a very particular box art in the same way that I think that I really enjoyed how Dracula's hair was styled in the new film here. Like just that style, he looked like some kind of like decrepit,
like big and round on the top and then long on the back, almost like what I'm doing right now, but white.
He looked like he worked for George Washington or something on the VHS box art. So it's something I locked in for sure when I was a kid at the movie store, but it was my first time watching it. I watched it after the fact. I like Dracula 2026 better than Nosferatu, I think, but Bram Stoker, that's still really a classic right there.
Oh, you're talking about the Coppola version you only watched recently? That Bram Stoker's Dracula?
Yeah, I don't think I'd ever watched it until I watched it actually after we saw this in theaters.
Dude, that movie, this will like date me, but man, I was like, my dad took me to the theater to see that movie. And oh my God, dude, that movie was like, for this age, I mean, that's a very erotic movie in some way. I mean, there are scenes in it that just like go on, and the nudity, and it's so beautifully shot.
Is that with Keanu Reeves?
That was, yeah, it kind of doesn't hold up for me so much anymore, but yeah, that's Winona Ryder. Beautiful. I thought she was just gorgeous. Yeah, Keanu Reeves, Gary Oldman, Anthony Hopkins.
My admission here is this is the first and only Dracula media I've ever consumed in my life, and I feel like I kind of already knew the story through cultural osmosis anyway. Am I missing out? Should I go watch Keanu Reeves in a Coppola film?
I loved that one, man. I mean, like I said, I don't know. You said you just rewatched that recently, right? That's what you said? That Coppola one? Yeah, I don't know, man. I haven't seen it in so long, but it was a childhood, like, imprint, because it's very lush and cinematic and just well composed. At least at that time in the 90s, it was a game changer. Yeah.
Eggy, is this not the one that you were talking about? Are you watching some like really old Dracula?
Oh yeah, the one that he's talking about, I'm fairly certain is the one that I had watched myself. Yeah.
Well, hey, everybody at home. Before we dive too much into Dracula, I should reintroduce our guest today, Mr. Jamie Graffy. If you don't remember, he's the director of Bikini Guillotine that the three of us reviewed back, I think, in, December of last year, around there. The commenters were saying it's an all-time great episode of this podcast. So if you missed that one or skipped it, I'd recommend go check that out. And maybe our Dracula discussion will inspire you to want to hear some more from the Three Musketeers here. Jamie, in the 3 months since we last podcasted, how many movies have you made? And by my guesstimation, it's got to be, let's see, about 90 days. 145 movies is my locked-in guess.
Man, I mean, honestly, what you said that was December, right?
Uh-huh.
That was December. I've definitely shot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've shot 14 movies since 2026. So it's been a pretty packed in year so far.
About one a week, yeah.
It's about one a week. Yeah, we were really hitting them really hard. But again, some of them are like 2 a day. sometimes 3 a day, you know. So we figured out that kind of methodology. But man, yeah, super great. And I got to say one thing: the Bikini Guillotine episode. I mean, I checked it out. I was going through the comments, and I was really getting a kick out of your listeners. Actually, like honestly, like it was really running the gamut. But there was like so much like kind of fun criticism and creativity there that I just kind of kept dipping back into it. Like it wasn't like that. It was. I mean, some of it was obviously more skewered than others, but the things they were pulling out of the episode were just like really brilliant. Like the idea that like I called Bikini Guillotine like it has like a haiku structure or something like this. Like, you know, I was like, well, I mean, I'm not wrong. I'm like, it's like they're pretty great. So I appreciate your listeners.
The whole episode cracked me up, but your enthusiasm for Bikini Guillotine made me so happy, and I'm glad it rubbed off on the listeners a bit. Not rubbing off in the Bram stroking way Eggy might do.
Hey, well, you know, I mean, it depends on how you're taking that film. All I'm saying is that there's more potential there maybe than average. I'm just saying.
I mean, this might be insulting to say. After watching Bikini Guillotine and podcasting with you, I thought, okay, it's time to watch Bad Girl School. And the best thing I could say about Bikini Guillotine is it's no longer my worst film of 2025.
Oh shit! Here we go. Oh no! Oh no!
It's basically identical to Bad Girl School, but at least they were in bikinis. Is my point. At least I could see more of their naked body. In this film, they were mostly clothed.
Yeah, that movie. You stay out of the comment sections, like and the reviews of that movie, because people take that kind of therapeutic approach very seriously. I mean, people are telling me like the movie should be illegal. And like I did a follow-up movie called Bad Girl Sunday School, which people, again, they're very quick to but the funniest thing you mentioned Bad Girl School is I'm actually building a marketing plan right now, and Bad Girl School is literally like the example of how this kind of cinema can be, you know, a great financial investment for your company. That's the one right there.
That's what I love about art is like, how can we make as much money from this as possible with as least effort, least investment? But you're making it a whole system.
Hard. We're trying, man. We're pumping it out. Yeah. I mean, we're not making, you know, I mean, one day, hopefully, if I could run into Caleb Landry Jones and get him in a Bad Girl School movie.
Do you think he would after playing Dracula?
I think I would not. Put me in the right party in Los Angeles on the right night, and you know, let's do a Bikini Guillotine spin-off. Let's do something really different.
What's the maximum?
Money, but let's do something really. Just let's go and shoot it right now. I can see that being possible.
If you're anywhere near the Austin, Texas area tomorrow, I could get you an invitation to a big party with a lot of. I guess they're big deal people that
the Kino Corner and his boss. Yeah, don't listen to Eggy. Kino's gonna tell you about his YouTube channel for 5 hours.
But you know, all I'm saying is, you know, hey, it's something.
What celebrities are gonna be at this? Maybe I'll take the ticket.
These famous podcasters. They're called Red Scare, and I don't know. They got like a couple. They've done some movies. They got like up 200,000 followers or something. They do it for a living, so that has to, you know, mean for something, right?
Jamie, what is the maximum that your producers would be willing to pay for a Caleb Landry Jones level name?
We could probably do for that name. I mean, I'm thinking, you know, let's try to get him for free first of all. That's the first pitch. Is like, let's just see. We got to see if he just wants to do it. Like somehow I get him to do it just because he loves. Because I loved his performance in this so much that I think he has to know there's no money. First of all, there's no money. He doesn't do it. But maybe we do a back end deal. So I'll shoot it for free. Like I'll shoot him. I will soak him up. He'll be like Bikini Guillotine sequel where he's kind of this Dracula-like presence. And then we sell that to some French distributor. And that's where he can get 50% of it. I'll give him 50% of that.
Oh, that might pay off, yeah.
Yeah.
And for what, like 2 hours of his time? Not bad.
We could do it in about 2 hours. That's what a lot of these people would do, though. Like when they got like Bruce Willis in, like I know Bruce Willis isn't acting anymore, but like just to have him come in, I mean, they would shoot every single scene in one day. I mean, you're talking like maybe 6 to 8 hours cranking out every single scene and then strategically editing that so that it looks like he's flowing through the whole movie. I mean, it's done. It's done. He's obviously like financially, like he would just, laugh at me. But as like an artistic presence, I mean, I think this movie in particular, like, I don't think it would be a completely different movie if we had a different actor in here. To me, it was like him. This movie was like Caleb Landry Jones in a way.
Yes.
And I would not have pegged him for doing this because I'm familiar with him from the film 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, where he plays the cowardly billboard salesman who the cop throws out of the second-story window, and he gets all bandaged up in the hospital and then gives the same cop the orange juice when he's all burned up, and it makes me tear up every time. Like, he had such a gentle soul in that film. I would not have cast him as spooky Dracula, and the fact that he nailed it, this might be an all-time actor all of a sudden.
Well, he had that softness there, and really depending on how you take how this film presents certain things, I think there's a softness to be found here as well. Really just this true, undying, and eternal love.
Yeah, should we jump to the ending here? Because his sacrifice, I don't know if I agree with it here. The priest making this gambit to him of, if you really love her, you'll free her and kill yourself right now. Come on, he just got her back, dude. Let them have like a century together. This is bullshit. Come on.
Yeah, the structure of the movie was a little odd too, but I gotta say he was also in Twin Peaks: The Return. I don't know if you saw The Return, if you're a fan of Twin Peaks in any capacity, but he plays this really drugged out character, and in that kind of drugged out character, this rich, weird authenticity comes out of him. So like somewhere between the softness of 3 Billboards, which I do remember him from, and then seeing him in Twin Peaks as this drug addict, this wiry drug guy, him in here just like, he hits it. He hits that he hits it more than, like you said, that kind of final gambit, that end. I mean, we can talk about the structure of it. It's no haiku, okay? It's no haiku. But yeah, I don't know, man. What'd you think about that ending?
Iggy?
I was okay with it. I mean, I get where you're coming from about it, but at the same time, I mean, listen, anybody who the way that he presented himself, he carried himself with such a true, it's a little bit out of date now to say this, but I was revisiting some old posts from about 5 years ago. There was something called a Sigma male, and really I felt like, despite, even though I was just saying he has this sort of romanticism about him, I mean, he also just spent hundreds of years perfecting his, I called it tactical soap, but really this perfected scent of centuries of travel. I mean, I think really it was more about the destination being reached, like he kind of just wanted it to come together like this, but after so long, despite your best laid efforts, you're still there, you're existing in all this extensive amount of time frame. And I think, it might, it'd be like, you wait 500 years and all of a sudden it's, okay, remember when you were a kid, you wanted to throw a pitch at the major league game? And it's like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I did want to do that. That's true, yeah. And then you do it and you're like, oh, that's pretty cool. Well, all right, now what else is going on? I mean, it is, yeah, I kind of felt that a little bit. Like it didn't bother me how that all came together.
Have you heard the controversy around how Chainsaw Man Part 2 is ending? Because this is kind of the same theme here of like, you achieved your goal and you're still not happy, so fuck it. What's the point?
To be honest, I have not at all ever watched Chainsaw Man, even though that everybody around me has.
If I recall, you have like 14 of the volumes on the bookshelf in your living room, Eggy. What's stopping you?
Going live to play Korean dating sims on the internet instead of reading. That's the reading I'm doing.
I'm glad you mentioned tactical soap because I think that is the main hook of this movie for me and most of our audience. Jamie, I'm guessing you've never heard of a YouTuber named King Cobra JFS unless we mentioned him to you last podcast.
Tell me a little bit more about him. He's not the YouTuber that passed away this last year, is he?
Yes, he is.
Okay, I only know about him from after he passed away. But please tell me the context.
Yeah, so we were a fan of him, and he had this thing called tactical soap, which had special pheromones in it that would make women attracted to you. But he would like put the soap like on his shirt, like instead of, you know, on his body. He's not showering with it. He's just wiping it on his clothing. But we looked up to him in a lot of ways, and it really tore me up when he passed away. And I think this film might low-key be a tribute to him in the sense that, he had Cobra's hairstyle, kind of, a little bit going on there. And the plot of the movie is he travels the world getting like Indian flowers and all these special things to make the ultimate perfume that makes him irresistible to women, even when he's a freakish, ghoulish, 400-year-old corpse monster man. And it's literally tactical soap to its ultimate extreme here.
Yeah, I can see that. Like for me, I tapped into that love as a open wound thought. I think that's something that like I bear with me like in my own life. And so when I see like this Dracula story, well, one thing that really surprised me about this too is that it definitely hinges more on that tactical soap idea than it does in trying to be any kind of horror movie. Like the funny thing is, like when you hit me up to do this episode, I was like, well, when can we do it? I was like, well, Friday the 13th would be awesome. I've heard some rumblings of this being an interesting performance. Let's check out that new Dracula movie. That's all I knew about it. But then I watched it and I was like, this really doesn't even feel like, I feel like it moves away. Like at first I thought like the kind of erotic beginning where their bodies are moving. It's very sensual. There's a physicality to it that is, it just pulled me right in. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. Like immediately I was like, this is going to be intense all the way through. And then even like the brutal battle scene I thought was really cool. Loved it, bear trap, all of that. And that's like that first movement, almost like horror, but even then I almost feel like the dial's already starting to move. We've already kind of just seen it's more of a romantic movie in general. And then by the time that like second middle part, which is very long, happens, it jumps forward to the future, 400 years. I go like, man, we're like really in like a gothic romance, a tactical soap gothic romance where this guy just kind of like, he's just beyond persistent. That wound just won't close, which is the classic like vampire Dracula kind of curse, you know, never being satiated. Unless you're Dracula in a women's prison, and I'm sure you're pretty satiated in that case.
Yes, folks at home, let us perturb you, let us tease you at the same time. In my searching for this film, I did find on my favorite website, new-fmovies.com, the same website where I found Bikini Guillotine and this whole adventure began. I found a film called Dracula in a Women's Prison, and based on the poster, I was shocked that the director of the film was not Jamie Graffy, because this is almost certainly straight from your mind. Are you thinking of suing them retroactively for stealing your idea 9 years ago?
Yes. I'm thinking I need to go back in time. I need to think, did I make this movie? That's like kind of what comes to me. It's like, well, did I actually shoot this movie?
Under a pseudonym, and now we need to watch it and see if it brain blasts your memory.
Something tells me it's not going to be good though. If like it hasn't crossed the radar yet, unless it's a hidden gem. See, these movies, there's like a big marketing behind them where it looks so good. But you know, like how long was this movie? You said this was like a full 90-minute movie, right?
And The Women's Prison was 100 minutes when I looked at it.
It's like long, almost as long as like this Luc Besson movie that we watched.
Yeah, too long.
And I'm like, damn, how can they do that? Like, what's going on here? And it's not an adult movie. I mean, I don't think.
I hope the poster was accurate because it looked like porn actresses. And if it's not just women stripping, what's the point?
It looks pretty good. I'm not sure about who the audience is, but then again, like I think everybody that watches my movies, they have no idea who the audience is for those either. So,
I think it's a fitting choice for my second ever Dracula movie. Really
you should
get the
see
full spectrum.
You never saw? You never saw Nosferatu by Herzog? The old Herzog Nosferatu with Klaus Kinski and Isabella Adjani. You kind of should put that in sometime, just in the background, just let it roll. It's really cool. It's really cool.
Should that be our double feature with the Women's Prison movie?
Yeah, Yeah, or we could watch the Jamie Gillis porno Dracula Sucks, which is actually quite good. Which is actually a pretty good one.
The new All
but
Dracula
we all agree,
miniseries with Jamie Graffy.
Yes, we all agree the problem nowadays is there's just not enough imagination in the adult video sphere. I mean, back in the day, you had so many. It was a go-to trope. It was a go-to gag for your, TV PG comedy show to have some kind of pornographic parody. Now it's just like women with a dingy room and a webcam just doing whatever the direct message says.
There's no art left.
We need the SOVL to return. It's we all agree.
Return to the days of watching a Thor porn parody in your friend's basement with all your buddies and nobody's jerking off. You're just laughing at all the characters wearing cosplay and then taking it off. Yeah, good times. Now you just get, like Eggy's saying, just whores in the bedroom. Can't laugh at that with your friends. That just gets real sad.
Yeah, it used to mean something. I think adult videos used to really be subversive art in the first place. Like in the 70s, I mean, they were like illegal to shoot. So these people were like shooting them, in a complete guerrilla style and then playing them in theaters. And then you had like adult films on film. And then even like the early Gonzo VHS stuff was really unique. But you're right, now just with the absolute, I don't know how to say it, just the how it's infiltrated the culture and just permeated through and through everything. It's saturated, doesn't mean anything anymore. And it's just monetization, right? Nobody's focusing on the content of any of these, which is exactly why Dracula in a women's prison, I'm telling you, is going to be chef's kiss.
If Bikini Guillotine had them take off the bikinis, it would be like the best porno ever made.
There's a lot of restraint that goes into all of these movies because we all walk that fine line. And I don't mean like we're all like, oh, I gotta take off that bikini. It's not like that. But it's just like we know that, like, for example, we know one thing. We know, like, for example, YouTube will not tolerate anything suggestive whatsoever. I don't know if you've encountered that, like, in your back end, where you, like, talk about things and they don't monetize certain things or whatever. Visually, they're so keyed into that. But we even know, like, man, if we want to get this on Tubi, yes, there's like a fine line of like nudity that could be expressed, but take it too far, which like apparently I'm the guy that takes it, too far sometimes with the, camera can't linger too long. That is immediately kind of throws those platforms out too. So it's really just walking that marketing tightrope, if you will.
Do you have to keep it like TV 14 rating, or do you do R?
That's the ideal, I think, to aim for. Like, I mean, I was talking to a film. This really nice guy hit me up recently. He's like a young filmmaker. He's done a short. He like legitimately likes a lot of the stuff that I've done, and then I look at his stuff and I'm like, well, this is really cool, actually. But he's talking about getting like a feature together and like pushing it even farther, making it really extreme, putting gore in or blood or something. And the minute somebody starts talking like that, my producer distributor brain kicks in and I go, okay, well, be very careful if you start walking these lines, because all of a sudden, like, you have a really cool movie and nobody's going to put it out. Now, unless you're coming at things with like these bigger budgets, like, I don't know if we talked about this, but like the Gaspar Noé, you've seen his stuff or no? Like Irreversible, Climax.
Yes, we did review Irreversible, yes.
Yeah, I mean, Irreversible, what like a gnarly movie to like ruin your brain and just like get inside your head, for forever. But he's got such a backing behind him, like a cultural backing. But can you imagine, like, if Bikini Guillotine had like an 8-minute,
tunnel scene? Yeah.
Yeah, tunnel scene like that. I mean,
they'd say this dude's a fucking freak, which they would never say about Gaspar Noé. Well, I think a lot of people actually do.
I really think his movies are like legit, like psychologically disturbing. Like Climax, really, like, I just watch it once, I love it, but then I'm like, oh fuck, I can't. Like, I gotta get like a palate cleanser. I'm doing like palate cleansers all the time now.
What's a good palate cleanser movie?
Yeah, well, the minute I said that, I was like, well, what are you watching, Jamie? Then it's like, videos of like people drowning or something. Or, it's like some kind of like choking fetish movie that I've found. Well, a good there's a really interesting strain of movies called the 1313 movies, which were soft. Okay, I don't want to say they were necessarily soft. They're not softcore. They're a little on the gay side because the director was very gay, but he had this method of getting these out into the public under the guise of horror movies. You guys ever seen the 1313 movies?
No.
I mean, they're some of like the wonderfully worst of the worst. So you got like 5 dudes in a mansion. So it's not girls, right? So somebody once said my movies are like 1313 for straight guys. So listen, you got like 5 dudes in a mansion. All of a sudden they arrive at the mansion. They're like, man, it's like getting hot in here. Then they're all wearing like tighty whiteys the rest of the movie.
What is the director's name? I might be familiar with this man.
Yeah. David Dakota.
Yes,
David Dakota.
I know David. Yes, I've actually seen not his films specifically, but people reviewing his films. So I'm familiar with like his D.B. Cooper versus Bigfoot movie.
Yes. So you're like one step away from those 1313 movies.
Okay.
But like they were all shot at the same mansion. They all have like, I'm gonna go like lie down in the bed. And then the guy's just like touching his chest for 10 minutes. And so I always thought like, wow, how cool that would be to do that with like a beautiful woman, just like change that around.
Please.
But in a way, those are good palate cleansers. You put them on, you don't think about anything. You don't really watch it, but you soak up the energy and then you put it back your own way. This is what I'm going to pitch to Caleb Landry Jones when I meet him, by the way.
From what I can tell, he pads out his movies to make them cheap by having like 60% of it is the hulky, bulky dudes with their shirts off, like jogging through the woods or walking one at a time up the stairs through the house.
Yeah, it's an incredible way to, not the best to emulate, by the way, to any aspiring filmmaker out there, but certainly a way to get a movie completed. And he was doing those movies in like one day. Absolutely.
If I was a gay dude, I'd probably enjoy that film. So if it was the chicks from Bikini Guillotine, I'd probably be watching D.B. Cooper versus Bigfoot in its entirety on a weekly basis.
That's right. Well, we're trying to make some magic out there. So hopefully, but in the meantime, I got these freaking love tales in my face and women's prisons and
love tales.
Dracula, and can't stop.
If you make your own version of Dracula in a women's prison, whether it's Dracula or not, can we get Aggie cast as a prison guard, even if I have to just green screen the footage to you? Can we make this happen?
I love it. Well, the funny thing is, absolutely. When I first met the producer, you were asking me who's running that Cinema Epoch channel, that's Gregory Hatanaka, director of Samurai Cop 2, Deadly Vengeance. When I first met him years ago, his first question to me was like, do you have a women's prison script? Like that was literally like, he's like one of the only guys out there at that time was like literally still looking, oh shit, look at those glasses. I love that. He was one of the guys that was like seriously looking to make that movie. And he's the guy that said like, why don't you do a reform, school movie? And I said, how about Bad Girl School? He's like, let's do it next week. So you got to give props to, to that kind of thinking, right? Those people don't exist so much anymore.
So here's my audition for myself as the prison guard. Dude, listen, normally I'd take you to the hole, but today I'm coming to your hole.
Oh no, he's the rapist prison guard, Aggie?
I know, it's like...
That's what you're bringing to the character?
Right?
If the main characters are the prisoners, the prison guard can't be a good guy. That's, that's I would never normally say that I love women and treating them good and stuff.
I certainly hope that's not a green screen performance then, because how are we going to do that?
Have you like floating in the air?
It's like the woman is like screaming, ah! And you're like a silhouette in front of her.
I'm sure the conditions of the prison are so bad you would hallucinate, so it makes me look like I'm floating when really I'm there.
Can he be a ghost? Ghost prison guard, and why not? Because it's Dracula's prison. Why wouldn't there be ghosts?
Okay.
Spooky shit.
Yeah.
In this movie, they had CGI stone gargoyles were Dracula's minions. And this was like in the movie Noah when they had giant rock monsters help build the fucking ark. In that, it took me out of the movie, and I thought, what is this goofy CGI cartoony shit? The gargoyles are acting like fucking minions and stuff. Like, come on, what is this doing in here?
Oh man, yeah.
Did you like that them?
Too. I mean, that was an odd choice. I don't know who pressured him to make that choice happen, but you know what I mean? Like maybe there was some pressure to like, let's get some monsters in here. You know, like visually, it'll be good for the production design. We can put that in the trailer. Sometimes those decisions come through, and then the director's like, okay, like how are we going to do this? Like, hey, this is how we're going to do it. It was challenging to take that part seriously, I must say. Like, at least when you see the 90s Bram Stoker's Dracula,
Yeah.
you're going to notice some like beautiful women, you know, like the Dracula's like assistants, like the women that are in his castle. Oh my God, dude. Gorgeous, very lush, erotic scenes. And this was, what can I say? This didn't pass that meter for me.
I'll say, you know, it was probably the lower point for me as far as the film. It might have been perhaps, you know, the film, because previously I hadn't seen Bram's stoking Dracula until after I'd seen this in theaters, and but I did see also Nosferatu in theaters, and that film, it's very dramatic, it's very to the period, and it does not have a sort of lightness to it almost that this film does. With you got Christoph Waltz here, kind of being the Christoph Waltz character transmuted into, you know, a period appropriate person. He's kind of got that quirkiness to him. He's not afraid to be a little dry on the humor. And really, there's a good theme of that throughout the film. So I think probably if I had to guess, it was sort of like once we employ a bit of a lighter tone comparatively to other films, you know, that of the sort that have been released in recent years. Maybe then they kind of bring that into the fold, like it's coming in as a full package. So it's like, well, you take the good, take the bad. It's 2020, you could have said, or hindsight 2020, you could have readjusted that. But if you're kind of being a little bit lighter and more maybe slightly cartoonish in other aspects, then I guess that maybe they didn't see a problem with this. But all things said, yeah, I think it was probably really my only complaint that I had about the film. I found it quite pleasant overall.
Which sector of the audience do you think that was meant to appeal to, Eggy, if not the three straight white men here? The women? Do women think that this is funny? Did your girl laugh at this stuff?
I noticed. Not that I could think. I think we snuck some alcohol into this showing. I think we had a good buzz
From
going on while we
Applebee's?
were watching it. No, we well, don't tell the theater people. She brings her backpack in, but she's got like a small backpack, and we sneak some drinks from the fridge in there.
Good thinking. They're charging like $12 a shot.
That's right.
Yeah, like Waltz's character, like by the time that hits for me, one thing I think, just the way I was thinking about it, was that beginning is so brutal and dark. It doesn't feel good. It's very dark. A lot of killing. She gets the bear trap, stab, death. The priest gets stabbed with a crucifix. I mean, you're in some dark territory cinematically there. And like you said, you know, asking about Eggy's girlfriend, I mean, you're going to lose I can't make any judgments about your girlfriend, Eggy, but you're going to lose people who might not be, maybe she is prepared for that. She's prepared for the prison guard. You're going to lose certain people if you keep that, I think, that darkness through the whole movie. It's going to be like, what the fuck, man? This movie's like brutal. And Waltz comes in, and you're right, he is kind of there. He's the cinematic presence. He's a little light. He's not quite a jester, but he's light. He's interesting. He's kind of fun. He changes it up a little, and you know you're watching a Dracula movie. You're like, oh, okay. Whew. You're like, I can breathe a little bit. I can relax a little bit. And I almost think just literally that. Which is surprising because at the end, he's like the key like theologian who's like, oh, are you ready to repent now? I will deliver you. You know, like he literally has like one of the, that's like intense at the end. That's the, you know, sorry, spoiler alert, but you know, he really holds that down where it's funny because he is so light through some of it.
It kind of reminds me of, I had some I graduated from an alternative school because I flunked out as a criminal and a bad kid and everything. But we had some teachers like that were very, like, they could be light and friendly and humorous and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, you know, like, your future was in their hands. So, like, they kind of, you'd have a funny little haha, and then it's like, all right, by the way, yeah, if you don't do this today, like, you're probationary period's over, you're completely expelled, and it's over for your entire future. At least, now I realize you can just get your GED when you're like 15 and spend 3 years playing video games, and your life could be awesome. All you kids out there, take note of that. But at the time, though, it is what it is.
Yeah. Bad boy school. Sounds like a good one we can make.
In that speech at the end, Christoph Waltz answered a question I had about the whole premise of the film, but it also introduced more questions. So I want to introduce this whole idea and see if you guys can enlighten me. Perhaps you're more theological than I am, if that makes any sense. So this film is a world where God is real, and when Vlad, Dracula or whatever, stabs the Pope, pretty much, the Jesus statue starts crying blood. So like, God is real. He's willing to interfere in human affairs. It's implied that God is the one cursing Dracula with this eternal life and all that. Like, it's not even the devil, it's God himself. But before all that, they're at this an epic holy war with the Muslims. And they want to brutally slaughter all the Muslims, and the Muslims want to kill the princess and all that. If the Christian God is real and he's willing to interfere with humans, why not just let the Muslims know, hey, you're doing it wrong. I'm real. You're worshiping. You don't all need to be slaughtered and die. And then in this speech at the end, Christoph Waltz says, man kills for himself. Why would God want you to destroy his creation? Okay, so God doesn't want every Muslim dead. That's good to know. But why is his form of interference to give a guy magic powers? Why not spare these Muslims?
Well, I would read it as that probably the curse was to do with, killing this Pope-like figure, and also while also rebuking God. The Muslims should know better because it's in the Ten Commandments. I'm saying no false idols, thou shalt not kill. So
this God just literally does want all the Muslims slaughtered, and he loves it.
Well, I'm saying, this is just, it is what it is.
So the priest says, why would God want you to destroy his creation? How do you reckon with that?
Google, Jesus Christ is the one true path to heaven. I think if you Google something along those lines, basically at this point in time, God would have, decreed something along those lines. And, they were kind of trying to, I don't know, I'm not an
The theme of the film is word for word, man kills for himself, Aggie.
Yeah, thou shalt not kill. It's the first commandment, so that's true facts.
Jamie, I need to hear from you.
Yeah. The Muslim thing, you threw me for like a sideball there. The personal aspects of it, I was connecting with more, but I think one way to look at it would be, the one way I entered into this kind of theological way of seeing the movie, which is that, yes, you take the premise in this movie, in this Dracula story, that God is real, and that God is the ultimate love, that nothing comes before that. And what Dracula's character, where he really fucks up, is that he tries to bend the will of God. He tries to bend the will of God by saying, like, whatever he says, like, spare her.
He needs his girlfriend to be spared, and they didn't pray hard enough, so I'm going to stab the Pope.
Well, he needs his girlfriend to be spared, which, if this is like an Old Testament God, or if this is just a God that goes, I'm going to teach you that this desire you have for this other human is, you're putting it before the love of God. And perhaps you could argue that, the Muslims, by not worshiping the God that is being worshipped on, the side that we're kind of seeing the movie through, are also not worshiping the real God. And so essentially, you're right. The minute he kills the priest, Christ weeps. He's condemned to forever, live kind of wanting and just kind of wandering and being in this state of kind of that idea that he can't experience real love, no matter, even if he thinks he gets it, which he kind of gets at the end, and then he gives it up. He gives it up, right? Like, is that whole last, and then Christoph Waltz is like, well, I'll release you. Now that's where I was like, wow, like, is he saved? Is he still damned? That whole ending was really interesting for me, but I do think that's kind of the conceit where that's that Christian notion of you have to be willing to renounce your mother and father. You have to be willing to renounce any human bond you have in favor of, the love of God, Christian God. Yeah.
What is the basis behind, in punishing this Dracula with this long life, I'm also giving him superpowers where he can victimize innocent women and turn them into his slaves to also go kill other innocent people. Like, is God just laughing up in heaven at all this? He thinks it's a joke?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, I think it's not, well, obviously this is not theology, but so I would think like, this is Bram Stoker probably going like, this would make for a really cool twist.
This'll piss off the kids.
I think that's all that is. Because you're right. Like, well, what is that first state that he kind of has to live in? Yeah, I don't know. I think it's more just for the fictional kind of like that idea of desire. I think the Dracula story, at least growing up with like the Bram Stoker version, was always about desire. And I think, that's why Dracula, we get this story is so, pushed into our culture of the sexy nature of the vampire, taking your blood, taking your spirit, changing you forever. He's like the ultimate seductive evil. He is really like Antichrist, He's pure human desire in that sense. And so he can never be satiated, which is interesting because Dracula also is aware of the love that he truly wants, or he's mistaken the love of God for a human love. And that's why he spends 400 years searching for this human love, only to get it and then realize it doesn't really release him, Hey, but then again, I made Bikini Guillotine, and I think it's a fucking haiku, so what do I know?
Hey, people can, they have multitudes is what they say, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I've made some of the worst garbage ever, and I would like to think I've had at least one good opinion in my life.
Well, we are going to make Dracula in a men's prison with Eggy.
No, not men's prison. No, fuck, David Dakota's making that.
Oh, wait. Okay, here's my audition for that. All right, you're just going to the hole. No other words intended here. You're going into the hole.
No, we're locking you in isolation for days.
Hole, not
it works for both versions. It's good, man. It's good.
You can reuse the same shot in both movies. That's really lazy.
Diddy's prison. I'm going in your hole. You're not going in the hole.
Yeah. No. That's the sequel is Diddy's prison. Like the prisoner who escapes has to go to the even worse prison.
Doobie might like that. But yeah, it's this. Yeah, that it's interesting that you've never experienced like the Dracula movies cinematically, Jimmy. That's interesting. But yeah, I think that is kind of the thread through all of them, which is that like condemned to wander the earth, forever wanting, and he plays that. I think.
Is it usually that he's
all those women?
Is the story that he's waiting for his beloved to be reincarnated and then he has to steal her away from, I guess, a brown-skinned man? Or is that just this movie?
I think it's just this movie. I think the original Bram Stoker's Dracula is he happens to come across, I'm just basing this again off the novel and the Coppola version. I think Jonathan Harker's wife-to-be, maybe also named Elisabetta or Mina or something like this, Mina. He sees her and he goes, holy shit, you look like my beloved. That's usually what it is. So he sees the girlfriend and goes, that's her. And he just believes it. And he pursues that at all costs, to his detriment.
So this movie takes it a way crazy step further and says souls and reincarnation, at least in this one woman's instance, are going to be real here. And this is literally the same woman born 400 years later. And when you meet again, she won't recognize you. But after like a few hints, she'll be getting flashbacks to her past life from 400 years ago. I mean, that's pretty romantic. The fact that he is so willing to give her up immediately after all that did not sit well for me. That's not a love story. That's a cuck story.
Yeah. No, but remember as well, it's not just coincidence. He literally has an object, a music box,
right,
that he's kept for 400 years. That when he plays it for her, she suddenly has visions,
right,
of apparently the woman that she used to be in a different life. It's insane.
It's very romantic. And then she's like, okay, yeah, I'm all in. Let's abandon my Indian husband or whoever this is. And I'm going to the castle. And then Christoph Waltz just has to pull up with the army and start blasting. It's not fair. At this point, Dracula's not going to be causing harm to anybody. I get that we're pissed that he kidnapped all these beautiful maidens and made them his ministers of evil, but he got his lady back. It's over. Like, that's the true tragedy, is that he's never going to hurt anybody again, and they need to take this away from him. Like, it's God's fault. God gave me superpowers. I'm not supposed to use them? Come on, priest. How do you worship this dude? Look what he did. That's what I would have said.
Well, we're talking about superpowers, so he's got shape shifting, so he's got deceit, he's got we as vampires we know, like I was watching this What We Do in the Shadows TV show. It's pretty funny, but there's a guy in there that's he's specifically an energy vampire. You know, this power that you have is really you are just a detriment. The way you conduct yourself, the life you live, is only predicated on harming others, essentially based on your own actions. And how did this all become in the first place is his rebuking against God, his refusal to accept what the Lord hath decreed. I mean, I guess he's got the rejuvenating himself. I mean, I'm a bit vampiric myself in that way. I have my quandaries and my shortcomings, but when the world is in interesting straits, perhaps it's something that gives me a bit more energy because I'm waking up and seeing what's the next crazy thing that's happening today, more so than when there's not that happening. So I've got my own vampiric streak that I need to make peace with. But are these superpowers exactly, or are they more of just condition or aspects of his condition that was wrought by his choices?
I mean, I think eternal life and the ability to create an army that obeys you, and then like they're eternally youthful as well. That's all superpowers in my book. I would love to have those powers personally.
That's fair.
I think it's the fact that he's never satisfied. Like, no matter he's caught in life. It's like the quandary of, if I could live forever, would it be worth it? Since I don't know what things would mean, like the meaning of things would shift. And especially if you could never get that thing that you truly desire. If you could, I mean, that sounds like nightmarish. I think that's where he's caught in. So yeah, and remember, he is completely you could say anti-Christ, just to say that again, because he feasts off of human blood, whereas the God that he rebuked, obviously, like anybody who partakes in that, and in that tradition, they were partaking in the blood of God. So having to only feast on the blood of humans, he's forever thirsty, so to speak, and forever kind of off. The dude's like always horny, but he can never just wield that bikini guillotine,
Hey, it's blue balls for centuries. Eggy,
he's forever edging. You know what? So true.
He's forever edging.
When I hear about all this antichrist talk, Eggy, historically, what is the mythological creature vampire based on? Do you have any inkling what are vampires based on?
Well, I don't have I'm not gonna look at it on Wikipedia. I'm gonna go a little bit off of memory, but there was a bit of an anti-Semitic connection.
Oh no, I regret asking this. We've ruined the podcast now that we brought this up. But continue, please continue.
Well, they have had a bit of a mired relationship with Christ. They say, we got our Messiah, it's not Christ. We're waiting on our one. We did get this temple built, figured out. We don't like him. They had this Talmud where they said some bad things about him. I guess they maybe, I don't know about the whole sunlight thing. Like maybe they just, historically speaking, there just hasn't been like a lot of athletic Jewish people. So I think they've been kind of like, maybe they're not the outdoorsy type. They're more of the big brain type. So they're inside more. Maybe there's something there. Garlic, I'm not sure. I mean, maybe I thought.
Even the priest in the movie kept saying, "Oh, garlic. Oh, that's a funny one. I doubt that does anything to them." Which I have a question about that. So this movie, it's playing fast and loose with the rules here. It's making fun of the gimmicks of vampires. Oh yeah, garlic. What a joke. But then he has to be invited into somebody's house. Now I get that's the thing. That's the trope of vampires. I saw the movie Sinners. It was overrated, folks. Why does this creature need to be invited inside? Does this make any sense, or is it just arbitrary?
Well, as I was referring to about how his superpower needs, it essentially is just bringing other people into a worse condition. I feel like also there's something to be said of, viewing the vampire as a parasite. And you can't, if you're going to have a parasite feasting on a host, there needs to be some level, I think, of a welcoming, because if it's completely, no, I'm shutting the door on you, you know, it's going to be much more difficult for that parasite to feast on whatever you have to offer, whether that's your blood or your hospitality or your resources, whatever it might be. So
but
I wonder,
do
I
his
don't know.
victims consent to being bitten on the neck, other than, I guess, being influenced by the aroma of his tactical soap?
Yeah, so maybe I don't know if the bat shape-shifting is supposed to be part of the deceit angle, like, oh, I can just become something totally different, I can go back and forth. But I think probably it plays into there like a natural manipulation or a deceit where the parasite can, you know, make that connection and then utilize your life force as now you're feeding me, I'm in a stronger condition now, you do my bidding. I'm just spitballing here just off the top of my head of what I might think. I'm not like looking at a list or anything like that, but that might be, I would say it would be a sensible analogy there for the parasitic nature of the vampire, and keeping your door either welcomed or closed, and then putting yourself in that proximity to be vampirized.
I would say, if I may, I think these are all really interesting as well. And he is playing loose, but you bring up a really good question. And I was thinking there could be one possibility, which is in this world, in the world of the movie, for example, humans could be viewed as being God's creatures. And under kind of the creaturely, in their creaturely nature, they are God's creatures. Whereas the vampire, in becoming a vampire, becomes inhuman. You know, the vampire no longer participates in that love and no longer is welcome. So the fact that if a human having free will can invite the vampire into their space, they're taking that on themselves in their kind of human, it's like they have that ability to choose. So they better choose wisely. But when once invited in, yeah.
But by that logic, I get you have to be tricked into eating this bad gas station sandwich to get the parasite hiding within it's a Trojan horse. But out on the street, do they have a choice on whether or not they get bitten and eaten? Why are we only making choices for residences?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I feel like Dracula could just kill whenever he wants to.
Like when he needs to be invited in, could he grab the person and pull them outside and eat them?
Great question, man. I don't know. I really don't know. Like in that hall scene, like one of the coolest scenes in the movie is when he's biting all those girls in that kind of dance hall. But again, that's a nature. Logically, he's been invited into that space, I'm sure. He's a part of that space. Therefore, none of them can control what's about to happen to them if he wants to unleash that.
If not for the intoxicating aroma of his perfume there, the scene is so illogical. We're like, they're watching him one by one go up to these women and bite their neck, and then there's blood and they all scream, but nobody's running away. They're just standing there waiting for their turn. It was crazy.
It's pure cinema. Yeah, you have to ask. Yeah, I think at that moment, the movie becomes movie. At these moments, it's the logic of cinema. It's this illogical space.
The wolf enters the sheep's pen. I mean, they can go up against the walls, they can, do whatever, but they might be able to get ahead of the other sheep and let the other sheep fall prey first. But that's kind of how I see it, is like the wolf is here among the sheep, and this is the feast has begun, and the wolf will eat its fill, essentially.
He's also like historic. I mean, I'm speaking like historically, but no, I think Dracula's always been a seducer as well. So we don't know, like, the perfume, the sensuality. There's a sensuality about Count Dracula that we don't know if he's somehow able to kind of influence what they're seeing. I'm going back in my mind now, so it's a bit of a stretch, but I want to say even the sirens in the Bram Stoker's Dracula were creatures. Weren't they kind of demonic, like these kind of gross creatures, but they were able to kind of become beautiful? Or am I just imagining that from something different? Something tells me he's able to kind of become this satanic seducer where you get so caught up in it, the next thing you know, the pleasure you want to feel, it's just ruined your entire life.
Or made it better. I wouldn't mind being a vampire.
Hell yeah, let's
Not
do
so
it.
bad.
Oh, well, see, the way I took it, because as an expert on modern dating, I said, oh, this is what happens when you're Chad. See, that was the thing, because he was tall enough and his hairline was good enough. So the women actually, the vampirism had no role whatsoever. They took out their tape measure and said, this guy's tall enough and he's got enough of a jawline that I would prefer to be eaten by him than some kind of short, balding vampire. And then that's why they fed themselves to him. So, really many theories to posit for sure.
Speaking of Dracula's superpowers, I did find one more. Evidently, he has Star Wars force powers, because at the dinner scene, he's like pushing a plate with force powers to go closer to his guest. He doesn't use that very often, does he?
No, that's classic Bikini Guillotine psychic energy. We get that. There's things like this, there's things like this that
it's easy to film.
Immediately it happens. That's all you need to know. You're right. He can move things, can he? No, that was a funny scene. That was a funny scene too, because the guy was basically just like, what? Like, great. Thank you. Like, it was just kind of, the movie went on. I think those are slipped in cinematically just to take the viewer into that space of just to let them know, like, oh, you're watching a fantasy experience. This is not what you think it is. I'm in control. I think Luc Besson is saying, I'm in control. I'm having fun. I'm having fun with this, and it's going to be what I want it to be. Because it really is his Dracula, in a way. It's very different than, I think the Coppola Dracula, I think, is very connected to the novel, the original novel. I believe he probably went to great stakes to keep it like that, whereas this is its own Dracula. They couldn't call it Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's just Dracula, which I think anybody can make a Dracula movie. I think it's a public domain character, which is why we get the wonderful
women's prison.
Dracula in Eggie's prison. Yeah.
Yes, can't wait. Yeah, so we might as well just do Dracula. I bet ours will be better than whatever we're going to be reviewing next month. We'll know what not to copy. Make it super original.
I want to do Bikini Dracula. I mean, there you go.
Oh, Dracula's even in a bikini too.
might have to be.
Might as well be.
Okay, well, we could add this to his list of superpowers. We have everything else. I mean, why not a Dracula that like has bikini generation energy? I mean,
bikini
bikini generation energy.
The part of the movie that
will your parts of the fabric to disintegrate.
What made me laugh the hardest is when is his name Harker, the lawyer guy who gets cucked. He's being he's tied to a rope by his ankles and he's hanging upside down from the ceiling, and Dracula tells the gargoyle minions, get them down, and in true minions fashion they like just cut the rope abruptly and he falls really hard onto his back and scrapes in pain. It was filmed for comedy. It was very funny.
There's got to be, they're not oblivious to that, which is bizarre, right? Like those tonal things, they must know. They know it. Maybe it's a French sensibility of humor too. Maybe there's like audiences in France like, this is beautiful, wonderful comedy, romance and sex. I mean, but yeah, it's funny.
We're almost up to an hour on Dracula Talk. Do you guys have any final thoughts you just absolutely need to get out there?
I mean, I felt, go ahead, Eggie.
Okay, well, I don't know if I ever did a letterbox for the film, so that's my bad if I didn't.
I think you did. I think you gave it like 4 stars.
Okay, yep, that's still my thoughts about it. It's I'm not afraid to say sometimes I like to fancy myself as somebody with some IQ to throw around, but I like a nice digestible picture just as much. And I feel like, this picture, like I said, I compared it at that time to Nosferatu, which I found to be a little bit more serious. And I felt like this one had a little bit more, it was a little more colorful for me. Had a little bit more liveliness to it that I appreciated, the way that I took it in anyway. And I thought that I quite enjoyed the picture. One thing I wanted to say, I don't know if we did cover this at all, we're talking about the whole tactical soap / perfume essence, etc. thing. Beyond the existence of it, there's also in the point in the film where he essentially perfects it, and he's going through these eras to try and find the woman he's looking for. It also then has this like very campy synchronized dance number with like women and men like doing all these dances like throughout the different eras, and the cinematography kind of blends them together a little bit, so it's synchronized dancing, and there's like a synchronized shots of this different dancing in different eras. That whole scene coming together for me, and everything that preceded it to build the context and then the payoff with it, I feel like at this time is my top scene of the year, even though this is technically a 2025 film, I believe. This for 2026, that's probably my top billing for entertaining scene thus far. Although, with that being said, I also did just watch this horse anime when I was in Florida in the theaters, and that movie was really good. But I think, for different reasons, for actual cinematography's sake, actual filmmaking with real people versus animation. Sorry, anime lovers, but probably my top scene of the year so far. So I would highly recommend anybody to watch this film, certainly, even if just for that. But it's a good film overall, in my opinion.
And Eggy, I counted this as a 2026 film on my Letterboxd list because it released, publicly like in February. So it's on them if they released it at a festival in 2025. It's not my problem. That's the way I do it.
That's fair.
Like that's why Nirvana, the band,
sense.
the movie, is the best film of the year. Which maybe once you see that, you'll have a new favorite scene because there's some good choices in there. Jamie, did you have final thoughts on Dracula?
Yeah. I really want to bring it back. For me, this movie was Caleb Landry Jones, and not knowing too much about his work so much, but really being fascinated by how he inhabits Dracula, how he becomes this character in particular, and watching the director kind of just get out of the way and let him be, I don't want to say weird, but let him be completely in that space. For me, as somebody who's, jumped into like a number of his own productions and overseen them, maniacally with control, it doesn't seem like it, but, a lot of control in these productions, seeing how he becomes Dracula and just is so inspiring. And also, I don't think he looks like a stereotypical leading male. I don't think he doesn't have that, some kind of DiCaprio Hollywood look. I mean, DiCaprio's got a really good look and this kind of thing, Brad Pitt, these guys. But you choose Caleb Landry Jones. It's a really odd choice for Dracula, but it worked for me through and through, so that if it was the Gargoyles or the other characters, even Christoph Waltz, when I was watching Waltz, I kept, obviously, for me, just thinking about that Inglourious Bastards character. Mm-hmm. And I thought, like, what's this? These guy's a Nazi. Like, what's he doing in here? But he pulled some charm through it for me. And I liked him more and more as it went on. But man, acting wise, like if I had a couple $1 million to make a movie and I was doing something that involved body horror, I don't know, just a character that needed to like suffer through the character. This guy, man, pretty damn good. And I'm guessing other people have said that too. But I think he holds it. To hold a movie like this, it's a lot of commitment, I'm thinking, going into it. He had to make all those choices about how to be this character. And I think he communicated that to me, at least definitely in the beginning, definitely through the pain of it all. As it went on, I got more used to him. And then at the end, I kind of felt like maybe structurally it was rushed a little bit for me, but that beginning and all of that pain, I was like, you got it, man. So Caleb Landry Jones, if you're listening to this, okay, don't be a stranger. If we see each other in public, let's have a talk. Let's get some business going. And I think we can probably cook up a good women's prison idea. We already got something cooking right here.
He's going to play Dracula again so soon.
You got to do Dracula again.
But for free, and you get 50% of the back end.
50% of the back end sounds insane. It sounds insane.
It ain't just your neck that's getting sucked in this prison today.
Now, David Dakota, if you're listening to this, 1313, we also have a pitch for you.
It's the same exact movie, and you get the same footage of Aggie from our movie. You just got some guys there. But yeah, so the movie, like, I'm not a big Besson head. I don't know. Like, I looked at his other stuff. Like, he did Leon, right? He did Fifth Element. I mean, Leon the Professional I saw when I was super young when it came out, and then Fifth Element I don't really remember. So again, I came at this directorially, so just kind of no judgment, just really like, what's this going to be? But yeah, Caleb Landry Jones, man, all the way. I don't know. I didn't log it on Letterboxd. Probably give it a 4. Probably give it 4. Sounds solid to me. With 4. Did I ever get your Letterboxd? Can you post that in the Discord sometime so I can follow you? Because I need some good follows on Letterboxd.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Sure.
Sounds good. I let my Discord know that we were doing another episode with you, and I asked if they had any questions for you. Would you like to answer a couple stupid questions?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Okay, whatever Who Cares says black chicks, yes or no?
Yes, absolutely. We did a casting call for Black Chicks recently. Although we're not doing that project right now, but there's a lot of talk about doing some Black movies, and
what Black movie ideas are percolating over there? I need to know what.
The minute we talked about this, Eggy's sunglasses went like right on his face, like he was gearing up to do I wanted
He's
to do
locked in.
what did I want? I wanted to do like some kind of like bad girl school movie, but with like black girls. But then we thought like the perception might not be good because I'm this like kind of maniacal like white guy, like reforming black girls might not be a good look.
Well, no, that's kind of the point of the movie, right? I mean, they're going to defeat you in the end, won't they? Or maybe they won't.
No, though the beauty of the bad girl schools is I just help them all, regardless. But yeah, what was coming up for like a black movie? Honestly, all jokes aside, like I think if I were like really to do a movie, I would really just do like a home invasion. I would start with like a slasher. I would just do my movie, but I would do it with like an all black cast. That's where I would start. But I know there's been talk about like Black Frankenstein would be fun. Cinema Epoch has done black movies. Body of Night, Kill Plan. I wrote that movie years ago. That's got Jason Toller. It's an action movie. He's a black lead. What else? They've done. The company's done some black movies. Yeah, Tubi gets a lot of traffic from. They got like a Detroit category. On
Once
Tubi.
upon a time, there's a category called independent black cinema. I don't know if they still do it, but it's where you would find movies with $200 budgets that they just filmed in their house, probably in a low-income neighborhood, and it seems as horrible as it sounds. I mean. Yeah. These are some of the greatest hits for me and Aggie sitting in my living room watching movies. Can you remember anything specific that we watched in this category, Aggie?
Was that like she's a bad kid or whatever, that one about like the crazy killer child?
Yeah, the
girl?
kid like stabs up her family. Yeah,
she's a bad kid. Oh shit.
I mean, my favorite thing about Tubi, and it's really endearing to me. But, every single Tubi movie starts off with like a leased YouTube hip hop beat with like very heavy bass, and then like the MS Paint title card comes in. Because I mean, it's all about what's in this. It's all about they're giving it all their heart and soul. They're not here for all this. Oh, I need to hire. I mean, you see this with this money behind production. You'll have like title card designer. There's like 20 people that get paid for it. I mean, that's just a studio. I'm saying. Getting too much money. They don't even know what to do with it. They're throwing money at the walls. This is coming out of the ghetto. This is off a real hustle
authentic.
Here. Okay. They're really hustling to get that camera and get all the people together. They're working 2-3 jobs just to make ends meet, take some time to, live out the real stories of their community. The only problem that I had with the last one I watched was when they're recording it on their cell phone, they didn't have like any kind of soundproofing for the wind. So like they were out like walking like in a park and like holding the cell phone like in their hand as they're walking, and I was like,
you might be thinking of Bikini Guillotine, Aggie.
I was gonna say, like,
I can tell you. Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I can tell you exactly what it is. It's on Tubi. It's called Play Both Sides, because when you look up PBS app on Samsung search on my Samsung Smart TV, it comes up with the PBS app. I had to find it for my grandma so she could watch Antique Roadshow.
Nice.
And then the other result is that movie, because it comes up PBS Playing Both Sides. It's about like a gangster who's like disloyal, and so I watched it, and that's how I know. So you can.
How
look
many
that up,
poor
PBS.
grandmas trying to watch Antique Roadshow clicked on that movie by mistake?
She got charged like a $600 bill by YouTube somehow. Like she somehow signed up for like YouTube TV like 10 times at once. I don't even know what. It was so fucked.
God.
Yeah. Poor grandma.
That's beautiful though. But yeah, the DIY mentality. I mean, you gotta love it. Just do it. Yeah, hell yeah. And well, one thing too is I gotta say, like, I not usually, man, always, 9 times out of 10, and I'm saying always, I will do a casting call, and it really depends on like who's like submitting to do my movies. Like I always start like with like, are you interested in being in this project? And then not a lot of black girls. So, Los Angeles based black girls, man, let's do it. Let's flow. 18 and above.
That's right. We're not rejecting them.
check
They're
out-
rejecting us. It's a them problem, not an us problem at this point.
That's right.
Come get in the movies, ladies. The D in HB wants to know, do you like One Piece?
It's a good question. Yeah, like I've definitely. I think I've watched about 30 episodes of it. I mean, there's like what 1,500 or I mean, there's like so
thereabouts.
many episodes. Yeah, I like the gonzo nature of it. When I say gonzo nature of it, I mean it's colorful. It's a little brash. It's very creative. It's very well structured. You have like a kind of assemblage of characters that are coming at you where it gets overload. But it's really sweet for me. Yeah, I get really sweet with Japanese content. I mean, I spent 6 years in Japan. I don't know if I told you guys that before, but I lived out my like mid-20s in Nihon. And I wasn't like a big anime guy, but for sure I would check out Akihabara. A lot of interesting, places to visit and a lot of interesting things to kind of experience, video-wise and all that. But I do have a really soft spot for a well-done gonzo, tonally interesting anime. Now, the Netflix version I've stayed away from just because I see clips of it and I just go, I don't know if this is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I would rather definitely much more go towards the manga or the anime, just for the tone and the colors and the sound and the background of it all. Yeah.
Eggy and I do a weekly review podcast of the One Piece manga, so we're pretty deep into
cool.
it over the last year and a half.
Awesome. I mean, that's like the mangas are great too, because I mean, I've read I haven't read that many, but I mean, I read like whatever volume 1, whatever, and they kind of put it together in a couple hundred pages, and that one flows so nicely too. And what's cool about just manga in general, and again, I'm underread, but people just don't get this. Well, I guess now people get it, but I mean, they're not for kids, obviously. There's themes that run through them they can be just more disturbing or interesting or horrific than so much other stuff that you're able to experience. It really is its own ecosystem. And then even within that, I mean, One Piece, I'm sure, I mean, it's vastly complex. And then the more that stacks up, you have to be, that's like devotion right there. So like a lot of details. So brilliant, man. I could never, I don't want to say never, but I can't pull that off. Like as a writer, as somebody who's like making stories, I don't gravitate towards that level of, it sounds stupid, but like that depth. Like I think there's depth there, much
There's
respect.
definitely a lot of depth and levels of storytelling piling on top of each other that, yeah, I think even by the time it ends, we still won't fully grasp everything that he threw in there. I think there are even colleges that have like whole semester classes researching Ichiro Oda's writing style. So
I bet. I mean, I wish I could sit down and just read through them and digest that and be in that. So I wish I could tell you like this is my favorite character or this. I do like the way they're drawn. I like the way that some of the women look really beautiful.
that's right. That's the appeal to hook us in, and then the storytelling is what keeps you.
That's right.
I don't even know what this means, Eggy. Maybe you can help me. Shuba wants to know, is the Gayat Riz full?
Yes, so is the Gayat Riz full? I mean, I think we all know what that means.
What does Gayat mean?
It's you know what it means.
It means the bunda.
I thought that was the name of the announcer at the Coliseum in Dressrosa.
Well, the Guyot is what women, they work on enlarging through squats.
Her
Is it
ass?
blissful? I would say, I guess to be honest, I think we might have even talked about this on the previous podcast. I think if we're using Bikini Guillotine as a reference material, I feel like we had a lot more women who were well endowed on the top half, probably more so. But with all that being said, I would say every single one of them rizzed me up with their Guyats, so therefore, I'm giving it an upvote.
Yeah, and then with the attention to the Gaiad is always something that kind of flows through the narratives. I mean, there's like a narrative necessity to accurately make sure that you're communicating the Riz when you're capturing the Gaiad. So
I'm glad
I will
Jamie
say for the
understood because
audience-
I'm so lost.
For the audience, I'm aware that the typical slang pronunciation is gyat, because it's that thing. I think it originates from like Islander culture, but I like to pronounce it Guyot because that's funny to me. So, listen, I'm Unk, okay, but Unk still got it though. All right.
Jamie, are you familiar with Survivor, the reality TV show?
No.
So every now and then we do a Survivor simulator where we plug in random fictional characters that we like, and then the computer makes it like a season of Survivor with them as the contestants. And shortly after we did an episode with you, we did our biannual Survivor simulator, and one of my characters I chose was Bikini Chick, the one that I had a crush on from your film. And Eggy, if I recall, she got like 16th place out of 18. She got absolutely crushed.
Oh, are you talking about you were a big fan of the she's slender, very slender.
Hey, don't tell me her name because then I might have to Instagram, and I'm not going to do that. So I don't need to know her name. Don't tell me. It's a bad idea. Eggy, who won that Survivor? She was going to do another movie with me though at some point. We're going to do another movie, so if you can get her and Eggy in a film, it will be my new favorite movie. Eggy, who won our last Survivor? Do you even remember? Yeah, I don't know either.
Is it like you throw it through some AI system that kind of, or do you have?
It's a website called Brant Steel that was built specifically to do this.
Interesting.
And you can also do
cool.
Total Drama Island, Big Brother.
Yeah. I love that. I think it's really funny.
Okay, here's my favorite question of the night so far. Major D says, "Fuck, marry, kill." Jamie Lee Curtis, Jane Fonda, Meryl Streep, and these are all as they are today.
Okay, Meryl Streep, Jane Fonda, Jamie Lee Curtis. God. Jane Fonda, okay, maybe the easiest to kill because I don't. It's pretty up in the air for me. I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis, I guess, would be.
I would kill her so fast. I don't even need to fuck.
I was going to go with the fuck on that one. I was going to go with the fuck on that one. I think she's doing like an erotic thriller actually coming up. Like I think she's like, that was like recently just announced. I would want to like put that back. Scream Queens was a really interesting TV show. Halloween. There's all that kind of baked into her. So I'll go with that. Or would that Jane Fonda, Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep, what was she in that I would know off the top of my head?
Did you see the Post with Tom Hanks?
What does he look like now? What's that?
The Post? Yeah, what are you saying, Eggy?
I just watched, what was it, The Letters? Is that what it's called or something like that? I just watched that with her.
Devil Wears Prada. Yeah,
Devil Wears Prada.
There's a sequel coming out now.
Yeah, Devil Wears Prada. I would have to say with her, it would be like, that's boss mode right there. We'll do Mary on that one. So we'll stick with my inclinations. We'll do fuck with Jamie Lee Curtis. We'll do Mary with Meryl Streep. And then we'll do kill with Jane Fonda. Yeah.
Eggy, do you concur?
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be my first thought, but I bet, you get Jamie Lee Curtis oiled up in a microkini, you know what I'm saying? It's probably still sitting pretty for 80 years old.
Yeah, am I wrong? Does her face not look like a mummy? Does she not look like Dracula in this film after 400 years? It scares me.
That's why you're not marrying her. You're going to want to sit and wake up to that.
I'm killing her. I'm blowing her head off.
Jane Fonda was against our American patriots in their time of need. And frankly, I mean, that's just unforgivable.
What does Jane Fonda even fucking look like? I don't even know who this is.
Just for a reminder, the winner of our last Survivor Simulator from last month was Charlie Kirk. Runner-up, William Shatner eating cereal in the car, and third place, rounding it out, Tigger from Winnie the Pooh. So those are our top three.
Oh, masterful top three. Jane Fonda today, fucking Silver Fox. Fuck yes for me.
Not bad.
Looking good, honestly. Much better than Jamie. Are you kidding with Jamie Lee? Look at her. Look at a picture of her today. Side by side with Jane Fonda, it's not even a question.
Yeah, the short hair, I'm not a big fan of the short. I like long hair. I like really, I get into like little longer hair.
Yeah, she's got the same hair as me right now, just gray.
Oh, I don't know. Joe, she's kind of looking a little, we call it bogged. I don't know if you're familiar with that terminology, Jamie. It's when the plastic surgery is a little too much. She's looking like what's her name? The lady that got killed for talking about Michelle Obama. I forget what her name is off the top of my head. The one that was the catty talk star host. I think, to be honest, I think Jamie Lee, I think she's holding it down. I wouldn't have said that, but based on these Google image results.
Oh my God, I'm gonna kill myself.
Yeah, it looks, if she's had it work done, I'm sure she has. It is what it is, but she's got a more natural look. Jane Fonda looks like some kind of like wax museum mannequin in the face.
It says Jane Fonda is 88 years old, and the fact that I'm still choosing her over Jamie Lee.
I think, let's play it like this. Here, I'm gonna tell you this. Well, ladies, it's not my place to decide, so I guess I'll have to have a little bit of a buffet.
Wait, is that an option to fuck all three and then kill them all?
You're gonna eat them, or is it cannibalism? Like, what is this?
It's whatever the film demands of me, but
Dracula turns the prison guard into a vampire. Now okay, I see what's going on here.
Okay, yeah.
The movie writes itself. And then nobody. Okay, last question, I guess. Not really a lot of questions. Nico Taito wants to know if your name was in the Epstein files.
I mean, I swear.
No. We got him, boys. No. Move on in.
No.
FBI.
Not in there. No. No. But what a fascinating thought of what kind of media was being consumed. Deep in the bowels of Little Saint Jimmy's, Little Saint Aggie's
Don't drag me into
island. No, sorry. Yeah, no, I know. But no, luckily not. But the producer, Greg Hatanaka, wanted to do a Jeffrey Epstein movie called The Dead Sleep Well. He wanted to call it Jeffrey Epstein, The Dead Sleep Well. And he wanted to do this really serious, Jeffrey Epstein character pick of him, becoming corrupt. I was not going to play Epstein in it. I would just do, a camera operator and, a side character. But
why did that project not move forward?
I think he discreetly removed it from IMDb, unless it's still up there. Sometimes he'll get these ideas and he'll put them on IMDb just to as a placeholder, just to be this is something we could make, which is a pretty smart idea, because then they start tracking it and you could see he could do it. He could do it well. I mean, the idea of doing a narrative like that it's changed, the narrative of that narrative. I mean, that narrative is changing so much, day by day anyway. And it's so convoluted. How would you dive into that?
It's almost like a choose your own adventure of what you want to believe and want to propel to the audience.
Yeah. And then it's again, like I said, it sounds like you're really cucked by the platform. So you also got to ask yourself, well, we have to do it such that how's it going to make its money back? Well, most likely if it gets on Tubi, it'll make pretty good money. So you gotta shoot it in a way that's you can't show you can't show any kind of gnarly, nasty Gaspar Noé kind of things that were actually happening. But you have to really play it in it's all very character driven, and some kind of suave layer has to be put in place. Some kind of dramatic layer has to be put in place that doesn't rock anybody's boat. And you gotta watch out for any political talk and so on and so forth, But to my knowledge, my name is free and clear of the Epstein files.
President Jamie 2028, let's go.
Unironically, better choice than all the fucking politicians out there right now. A man with a vision for the female body.
That's right. Or the men's prison. Am I right?
Or the David Dakota films and all those male bodies as well. Aggie, anything we should wrap up with? You gonna work on the script for the Dracula women's prison movie that we're gonna make? And meanwhile, we're just gonna watch that film and come back, in about a month and review that?
Let's do it.
In the Draculian spirit, do we put some kind of edible blood or blood sausage or something on our new Wheel of Cursed Meals that we're brainstorming?
Is that disgusting? That sounds delicious.
There's got to be some way to make it bad, right? Maybe find a way to It's
We'll
an
save
idea.
that for
It's
the upcoming Wheel podcast that everybody can stay tuned to. I'm guessing actually literally the Wheel might be out before this podcast comes out. I'm about 5 weeks ahead, so I hope you're not planning on sharing this in the month of March, to be quite honest. A happy belated Friday the 13th, everybody, because we are recording this on that date. Jamie, anything else you want to say to the folks at home?
I mean, I appreciate your listeners. I appreciate the questions. Like I said, the engagement in the comments was really made me smile. In a sea of I don't know how to say it. I felt your audience really, some of them really understood the truly rigorous depths that it takes to make Bikini Guillotine, and appreciate it as well. They were kind, they were humble, they were insightful, they were thoughtful, they were. I mean, I would welcome them all to have a conversation with any of them. And I thank you for reaching back out to me. I appreciate you guys. I've been dipping back into your some of your Is It Kino episodes and really getting some joy, not even getting joy out of that, and hearing you guys talk and just getting to know you guys a little more has been really cool. Because after we did the Bikini Guillotine talk, and then you said, let's come on talk about another movie. And I was like, okay, well, that'll be interesting. Like, I wonder what's that going to even look like? And so I think the timing of all of this was just so good. And I'm really like this talk today has been, I mean, it's not brain dead, man. It's good. It's good thoughts. I really appreciate it.
Hey, some movie review podcasts like to analyze movies. That's all I'm going to say. No more burning bridges from me. Okay? We got to burn vampire corpses instead. Jamie, having you on as always, I mean, 2 for 2 now in terms of being delightful, and I hope we don't have to wait 3 months every time you come back. A monthly show would be one of the greatest pleasures of my life, to be honest. I mean, there's lots of Dracula movies out there, and hopefully non-Dracula movies we could cover. I did remember, Aggie, did I not actually see this latest Nosferatu movie? Maybe I just didn't think of it as a Dracula movie, and also it was so dull that it slipped my mind, but I might have actually seen that.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain that we both saw it in the theater, the two of us, if I'm not mistaken. Because I was like,
maybe I've seen a
found a bit of
Dracula
it.
film.
It was part of it, maybe, I can't remember exactly, to be honest, off the top of my head, but part of it maybe towards like the middle, like from like the 50% mark to like the 70% mark, it was a little bit of a drag. And I didn't feel that Dracula 2025/2026 was a drag at all. So that's, I'm a man who sometimes my attention span, it's not the best it could be, but I'll say, well, in my experience, that Nosferatu was a little bit more like Snooze-feratu, whereas Dracula was spectacular.
Yeah, I might have literally fell asleep in the theater, and that's why I forgot the film. Jamie, do you have anything online that I should link to in the description?
Yeah, I'll give you, if you don't mind, I would love to give you the direct link to, I guess you could call it, my collection of movies on Tubi, because I don't know where we were at when we did Bikini Guillotine, but now I think there's more than 20 titles on Tubi, and it's always good to get that link out there. So if you don't mind putting that in the description, even if it's months out from now, that would be fantastic. It links everything that I've directed or I appear in. I think most of them are the things that I've directed, but it's all there in one location. So
yeah, give me that and your Letterboxd, and we'll be set. Sounds
absolutely
good. Aggie, any words of wisdom as we say goodbye, because this is the final 10 seconds.
That's right. Well, when you non-paying subscribers hear this, make sure that you remind yourself to become a paid subscriber, because I could include some breaking news about RAM prices or food supplies or interglobal, tactical conflicts. But you could have heard it right now. You could have heard it from my very mouth. All I'm going to say is make sure you got plenty of plastic bags.
Rations?
Kind of like get some Ziploc bags.
How's that going to help?
It keeps stuff stored from the elements. You never know.
Okay. Peace,
you could have known that if you paid for the subscription. So if you're not paying, there you go.
Fair enough.